Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and this is the channel where I went to business school so you didn't have to, and today we are talking about DWAC stock, which is a SPAC company that is bringing Trump Media and Technology Group public. DWAC stock has surged by around 42% recently, so investors are extremely hyped about this particular company. But why? We are going to be going over if this stock and company can succeed in the long run, what analysts think about this company in terms of revenue and their overall stock price, and what are the chances of this actually succeeding, both the merger on top of the actual company underlying the merger. Because we are going to talk about two companies today, which is going to be Digital World Acquisition and Trump Media and Technology Group. We will also touch on Rumble and their SPAC acquisition, which is also going through. So for more videos like this one, remember to go and smash the like button right now, subscribe if you are new, comment your thoughts down below, and without further ado, let's get right into today's stories. So Digital World Acquisition, ticker symbol DWAC, at its current price levels are very inflated right now. The DWAC stock soared from just being worth $10 per share all the way up to $175 per share in October. It has recently pulled back since then, however, it has started to rally after consolidating, and currently it sits at around $85 per share. The reason why Digital World Acquisition is receiving so much publicity right now, and has been for the last couple of months, is because they are merging with Trump Media and Technology Group, so Donald Trump, which is our former president, is going to establish his own social media platform to contend with other platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, and even YouTube to some degrees. The reason why a lot of investors are very hyped about this particular company is because they like the vision for the company, because this company is going to establish a social media platform that really encourages free speech. So once the merger with Trump Media and Technology Group goes through with DWAC, and they officially merge and Trump Media and Technology Group is listed on the public stock market, how successful is this Truth Social platform going to be? And if you didn't know, Truth Social is going to be the name of the platform, and it's going to be very similar to Twitter. But with that being said, Trump Media and Technology Group wants to add other platforms onto this platform so it can be a giant media company in general. So how successful is this company going to be? We are going to be looking at three different scenarios. The base case scenario, which is going to be the average. The best case scenario, which means if everything works out, how high can the stock price go? And the worst case scenario, if everything crashes and burns, is the risk worth the reward? So let's start off with the base case scenario. So for our base case scenario, just in the first year, we are going to anticipate and project the monthly active users on this Truth Social platform to be around 100 million active users. According to the most recent estimates, with a platform with around 100 million users, it could generate more than $900 million worth of revenues and profits of around $180 million within the first 12 months. So respectively, this would be a phenomenal company if the company can automatically start up, get almost $1 billion of revenue in the first year, and already generate profits of around $180 million. So right now, the base case scenario and just the fundamentals of it look very promising. But now let's talk about the best case scenario, and then we're going to talk about the worst case scenario. Let's assume that Truth Social is absolutely a blockbuster hit, and many more people, over 100 million, decide to join this platform. So let's anticipate around 200 million to 300 million people worldwide using this Truth Social platform. How much revenues could be generated from this user base? And most of these revenues are going to be coming from sponsorships as well as marketers. It's going to be very similar to how Facebook and YouTube and even Twitter generate their revenues. For instance, Twitter has generated around $4.8 billion worth of revenues and $357.5 million of operating income. And in our best case scenario, by 2023, if Truth Social has landed a user base between 200 million and 300 million people by 2023, Truth Social could also generate these exact numbers. So again, extremely bullish. So our average scenario, or our base case scenario, is very positive, and of course the best case scenario, which I think is rather too bullish, is also extremely lucrative, and this is going to reflect in the stock price. But right now we're just talking about the monthly active users and how that is going to increase revenues, profitability, and operating income, and then we are going to transform this and talk about the stock price and what the stock price could be worth depending on which of these these scenarios are actually going to come through to fruition. So now that we've talked about the base case and the best case, let's talk about the worst case scenario. So this is where we need to weigh our risk for rewards. For instance, in the worst case scenario, we're going to say Truth Social is an absolute flop and it's performing subpar compared to traditional social media platforms, and this could very well happen. So we're going to say that only around 15 to 20% of Donald Trump's overall supporters are going to adopt this new Truth Social platform. With 20% of Donald Trump's base adopting and using this platform, which really encourages free speech and a multitude of opinion, is going to generate revenues, or is projected to generate revenues of around $150 million, which would lead the company to a net loss of around $400 million. But the real problem here is that Truth Social is against social media giants such as Meta Platforms and Google, which own Instagram and YouTube, respectively. So, if Donald Trump doesn't have that initial surge of monthly active users, it is going to very negatively impact this platform, and it's really not going to be able to get off the ground. But now let's talk about some stock prices. For instance, a Seeking Alpha author estimated the market value of DWAC stock to be worth around $2 billion, based on the share price of around $70 per share. As of today, the current DWAC stock price is trading at $84.45, which is around 20% above $70. Truth Social could be worth around $4.5 billion at the end of the first year, according to the base case scenario. That means roughly an 88% premium to the presumed current market value of the company. For the better than expected scenario, Truth Social would be worth $24 billion, or 10 times the current value of the DWAC stock. This would mean investors could make loads of money off of this particular company. However, in the worst case scenario, we get a very large range of what the stock price could be for this particular company. For the worst case scenario, the share price unfairly could be valued at $1 to $22 per share. However, I think in the worst case scenario, it is more than likely that the stock would trade at around $10 to $22 per share, and that would be the worst case scenario, which means that the stock could fall a substantial amount from the current stock price of $84. However, if the base case scenario is true, which means that the market cap would be around $4.5 billion, we could easily see almost $100 per share from this company. For instance, the current market cap for DWAC stock, $3.11 billion per share. We have some price targets that I've found online over here of $22 as the worst case scenario, $55 as the average case scenario, and over $80 as the most bullish case scenario. But if the company can attain 5 times revenues, it means that their market cap should be $4.5 billion, which is even above the current market cap of $3.11 billion, which means that the stock price could be well above $83. So I currently actually don't agree with these price targets over here. My low-end price target would actually be $10, and the high-end price target would range well over $100 per share. Investors are looking ahead and buying DWAC stock now at a discount, so the stock price can surge even more once the merger actually goes through. But if you believe that a new social media platform can pop up to rival Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and any other of the mainstream social media companies, this could be extremely lucrative. Imagine investing into Facebook or Meta Platforms back when it launched. So this could be extremely lucrative for certain investors. However, I personally am not going to be investing into this company right now. I'm going to wait for the merger to go through. I'm going to evaluate the actual company once they actually put forth some earnings in an official earnings report, so I can properly value the company while also looking at their cash flow statements, balance sheet, and income statement. Because until I have this financial data and I understand more of the fundamentals behind this company, I really don't want to put my money into it right now, because I am just not that type of investor. I do want to add that I have reported on this company before, so feel free to watch those videos, and I talked about how Trump Media and Technology Group signed a contract with Rumble. And if you don't know what Rumble is a direct competitor to YouTube. It's basically like the conservative version of YouTube, where a multitude of people share videos and post it to a platform, and anyone can search and watch these these videos. So Trump Media and Technology Group signed a contract with Rumble to be a part of their overall media portfolio. And Rumble is going public on the public stock market through a SPAC merger with CF Acquisition Corp. 6, ticker name CFVI. So a lot of analysts and investors, along with myself, consider that investing into CFVI might be a better and cheaper way to gain exposure to Trump Media and Technology Group, because it's also wrapped up in the hype because this contract was signed in the past, and CFVI also surged recently, and we know this because the company is up around 18% today. It currently trades at $15 per share. They also have a very small market cap of around $576 million. So if you want exposure to both a good company and a competitor to YouTube, while also gaining exposure to a more risky investment such as Trump Media and Technology Group and their platform, which is going to be Truth Social, maybe investing in CFVI could be a better investment for more risk-tolerant and less aggressive growth investors. So if you are a very aggressive investor and you think that you're going to invest into the next Facebook or potentially a Facebook or Twitter competitor, then Trump Media and Technology Group is going to be the stock for you. However, because they are currently not a publicly traded company, you would need to invest into DWAC, and then eventually they will merge together if the merger officially goes through, and then it's going to be traded as their own company on the public stock market. If you are more risk tolerant, then maybe investing in a CFVI is going to be a much safer investment because you have indirect exposure to Trump Media and Technology Group due to their contract that they signed with Rumble, but Rumble will be the actual institution that you are investing into once Rumble actually goes through with their SPAC merger deal with CF Acquisition Corporation 6. Subscribe if you are new, comment your thoughts down below about Rumble and Trump Media and Technology Group, and I will see you in the next YT video.